Welcome back to the channel. We spend a lot of time on this channel talking about the power of a good book, but have you ever stopped to think about what your reading habits might say about you? Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of reading and exploring 7 habits that some say indicate a high level of intelligence. Now, before we get started, it's important to remember that intelligence is a complex thing and there's no single way to measure it. These are just some interesting observations about the connections between how we read and how we think. So grab your to-be-read pile, settle in, and let's get curious. Have you ever found yourself juggling multiple books at the same time? You pick up one, read a few chapters, then switch to another, and maybe even another? This seemingly scattered approach to reading could actually be a sign of your intellectual prowess. Reading multiple books at once requires cognitive flexibility. You're switching between different storylines, writing styles, and genres, keeping your brain engaged. It also suggests a healthy dose of curiosity. You're constantly seeking out new information and ideas. You might think you're not focusing on any one book, but our subconscious minds process information even when we're not actively reading. Embrace your inner book juggler. Your mind is a vibrant and multifaceted landscape. Let's face it, there's something undeniably alluring about the real world. The complexities of history, the intricacies of science, the raw power of a well-told biography. These are the things that set our minds on fire. So it's no surprise that a preference for non-fiction is often seen as a sign of intelligence. It suggests a thirst for knowledge, a desire to understand the world around us in all its messy glory. Non-fiction readers are often drawn to facts, figures, and evidence. They want to know the why and the how behind everything. They're not satisfied with simply being told what to think. They want to form their own opinions based on solid ground. This doesn't mean that fiction doesn't have its place, of course, but there's something to be said for the person who finds themselves constantly drawn to the pages of history books, scientific journals, and thought-provoking biographies. From the sweeping epics of fantasy to find ourselves drawn to the familiar comfort of our favorite genres. But stepping outside of our comfort zones can be incredibly rewarding. Why not pick up something completely different? You might just surprise yourself. Chapter 4, The Mark of a True Reader, Annotating Books. Is your copy of Pride and Prejudice filled with underlined passages, scribbled notes in the margins, and dog-eared pages? Don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, that well-loved, slightly battered book might just be a testament to your intelligence. Annotating books, you see, is more than just highlighting a few pretty quotes. It's about actively engaging with the text, wrestling with the author's ideas, and forming your own interpretations. When you annotate, you're not just passively consuming information, you're creating a dialogue with the author and with yourself. You're asking questions, making connections, and deepening your understanding of the material. So grab that pencil or pen or highlighter or whatever your weapon of choice may be, and don't be afraid to mark up those pages. Chapter 5. A second journey. Rereading books. We all have those books, the ones that stay with us long after we've turned the final page. The ones we find ourselves drawn back to again and again, like old friends. Rereading books might seem like a simple pleasure, but it's actually a sign of a sharp and inquisitive mind. You see, when we revisit a book, we're not the same people we were when we first read it. We've had new experiences, gained new knowledge, and developed new perspectives. This means that we're able to see the book in a whole new light, to pick up on nuances we missed the first time around, and to appreciate the author's craft on a deeper level. So don't be afraid to revisit your favorite books. You might be surprised by what you discover. Chapter 6. The Night Owl. Scholar reading before bed. In our fast-paced world, it can be tough to find time for the things we love, but there's something about the quiet hours before bed that seems to lend itself perfectly to getting lost in a good book. Reading before bed isn't just about relaxation, though it's certainly a great way to unwind after a long day. It's also a sign of discipline and a love for learning. It means that you're willing to prioritize your intellectual growth even when you're tired and could easily just scroll through your phone. It suggests a natural curiosity and a desire to constantly expand your horizons. So, the next time you reach for your phone before bed, consider reaching for a book instead. Your mind and your sleep might thank you for it. Chapter 7. The Book Club Effect, discussing books with others. Remember that feeling when you finish a book that's really blown your mind and you just have to talk to someone about it? Well, that urge to share your thoughts and feelings about books is more than just a social impulse, it's a sign of your intellectual engagement. Discussing books with others allows us to test our own interpretations, to hear different perspectives, and to deepen our understanding of the text. It's a form of intellectual sparring, a way of sharpening our critical thinking skills and expanding our worldview. Whether it's a formal book club, a casual conversation with a friend, or even a lively debate online, engaging in discussions about books is a sure sign of a mind that's both active and engaged. Let's be honest, sometimes we just want to curl up with a light and easy read. But then there are those other times when we crave something more, something that will challenge our minds and push us to our intellectual limits. Reading difficult material isn't always easy, of course. It takes effort, concentration, and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones, but the rewards are well worth it. When we challenge ourselves intellectually, we grow. We develop our critical thinking skills, expand our vocabulary, and learn to grapple with complex ideas. So, the next time you're browsing for your next read, don't be afraid to pick up something that intimidates you a little. You might just surprise yourself with what you're capable of. Have you ever looked up from a book and realized that hours have flown by? That feeling of being completely lost in another world, that's the magic of reading. But being able to read for long periods of time isn't just about getting lost in a good story, it's also a sign of your ability to focus and concentrate. In our world of constant distractions, being able to quiet your mind and focus on a single task is an increasingly valuable skill. So the next time you find yourself getting lost in a book for hours on end, don't feel guilty. Embrace it. It's a sign that your mind is a powerful tool capable of deep focus and sustained attention. Is your to-be-read pile threatening to take over your living space? Don't worry, you're in good company. Keeping a reading list isn't just about hoarding books, though there is a certain satisfaction in that. It's about having a plan, a roadmap for your intellectual journey. It means that you're constantly seeking out new knowledge, new perspectives, new stories to enrich your life. It's a sign of a mind that's always hungry for more. So keep adding to that list, my friend. Let it be a testament to your insatiable curiosity and your lifelong love of learning. So, there you have it. 7 reading habits that just might be signs of a highly intelligent individual. How many of these habits do you have? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, intelligence is a complex and multifaceted thing, and there's no single way to measure it. These are just a few fun observations about the connections between how we read and how we think. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful content. Let us know in the comments which reading habits you have.